The single leg Romanian deadlift is very similar to a regular Romanian deadlift, but just like the exercise sounds, you're doing it on one leg. There are a couple really important things to remember. First and foremost is as you push back into your hips, your knee is soft. You don't want to lock that knee all the way out. The second thing is that your back leg that's moving and your upper body are going to maintain a bit of a seesaw motion. And again, this is pushing back into your hips, not just bending at the waist. So to do the single leg Romanian deadlift, it's ideal to be barefoot so you can really feel rooted into the ground and feel that tripod foot, which is 3 points of contact. So your heel underneath your pinky toe and underneath your big toe feel nice and rooted into the ground. You're going to push back into your hips and kind of let your back leg float back, but it only comes back as far as your upper body goes down. So it's a seesaw motion. So you push back. So if this is as far as I can go, my leg doesn't go any higher and my torso doesn't drop anymore. It maintains that seesaw motion the whole time. So push back into my hip, stop when my hamstring catches, come up, push back into my hip, and come up. So you'll notice my knee stays soft the whole time that I'm pushing back into my hip, and I'm not going down farther than my hamstring can handle. I'm also controlling my knee and not letting it cave in. Another really important thing to note here is a lot of people's hips will kind of open up as they go back. So this is what that looks like. As they push back, this hip will kind of open up to the side. It's really important to close that off. One cue that you can use for that is almost thinking about your down leg kind of floating to the center of your body a little bit. That'll teach you to close that hip off. So that looks like this. You'll see this leg almost floats more to the center of my body. If you think about trying to balance your weight when it's evenly distributed like this and you're all on one leg, that's not going to work. So think about closing that hip off and letting that leg float to the center of your body. Once you've nailed being able to do it with body weight, you're welcome to use a kettlebell or a dumbbell to liven things up a little bit. A couple things, you can hold the kettlebell in 2 hands so that the weight is straight down in the center of your body. Or you can do an offset single leg deadlift and hold it in 1 hand. So I'll demonstrate 2 hands first. So I'm going to push back into my hips, grab that kettlebell, come up, push back, come up. I'm leading with my heel, keeping that back leg relatively straight, spine nice and neutral. And this is what it looks like if I'm going to do it offset. So I'm going to only hold the kettlebell in my left hand. You can see this is a really challenging exercise. Now I get a lot of questions from people who are doing the offset kettlebell single leg RDL, and they ask, should they hold the weight in the same hand as their down leg or the opposite hand? To be honest, it really doesn't matter. It's whatever feels comfortable for you. I've had clients that think each way is harder than the other, so just play around with it and find out what you like.